So this is like your phone when you're at concert, and it's a block up at the top in red that's counting. Oh, really? So when you're
We used to like when it was really, really high. I only get rental tickets for Christmas time.
yeah.
That's about it. Here then last night. It's a little golden. Mistakes and I can come in from the real clothes and the big towns.
No.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Arndt.
Here.
Ms. Cook. Here. Ms. Eisenhart. Here. Ms. Falcone. Here. Mr. Haney.
Here.
Ms. Hassler.
Here.
Ms. Plummer. Here. And Mr. Miller.
Here. Note for the record, an executive session was held on November 30th, 2024 regarding labor negotiations with Teamsters Local 773. Next on the agenda, approval of minutes. I'm going to do them each individually. First up would be, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the May 13th, 2024 meeting minutes. Second?
You can, if you can, approval of minutes, is what's called a ministerial act, so it's up to you, you can if you want to. Okay. So can somebody else second, perhaps who was on council at the time?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Is everybody good with what you read? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Any
Next.
other abstentions?
Any abstentions?
Okay. One abstention?
Sound good?
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, October 28th, 2024. And I have a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve them.
A second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Lastly, November 25th, 2024.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you. Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Communications.
The first item is application for an ADA parking spot, and the address where the spot will be located is 35 South Spruce Street. You have the application form in front of you to review and to make a decision.
I don't know if I didn't get everything, but I don't have the medical doctor's statement.
Due to it being HIPAA protected, I have it here if you'd like to review it, just like our previous application.
Okay, yeah, before I vote, I'd like to.
Yeah. The reason for that is that if it's in the council packet, it becomes subject to open records request, and this is protected health information.
I would also like it noted for the record that I will be abstaining from voting on this. As it is, my spouse.
Excuse me?
It is my spouse.
Your spouse, okay.
My spouse, so I will be abstaining.
Okay, you'll fill out a form?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Do I need to request a motion, or can we just,
Request a motion and a second, and some discussion and vote.
I'll wait till Carol's done.
Okay.
You're done? Can I have a motion to approve the request?
motion to approve.
A second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
With one abstention.
Okay, the next item under communications. Daryl George is our assistant chief for the Topton Volunteer Fire Company #1. They are purchasing a ladder truck, and would you like to?
Yeah, I can do the 30-second version. Sure you saw, we signed a deal with Pierce on a new 75-foot ladder truck. It's to replace our current one that was installed in 2001, it's a 2002 So we made it because unfortunately the new one's gonna take 41 to 48 months from time of signing to be built. So, I don't know if you've got the information that was sent out, okay? So there's little specs on it. On the back, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. As you can see, the expected cost without equipment just for the truck is 1.7 mil. Unfortunately, it's the biggest purchase Topton Fire Company ever spent. Our last ladder truck was like 485, 487, so you can see inflation. Our goal is, we wanna have the truck paid off before it gets here without a loan. So we're starting the process right away, so we don't have to pay any interest, because if we take a loan now to get the truck started to be built, you know, we're gonna pay all that interest while we don't have a truck. So all we're looking for is to take 90,000 out of our current tax account to assist with the $400,000 down payment that we're putting down. It's coming out of the 3 municipalities equally by the amount of call volume we go on, and the rest is coming out of our savings and our small games of chance. So all we're looking for is take it out of our current tax, and then there will be like more in the future coming on. We have it all mapped out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Does that require any action?
Not if,
Since it's already in the budget and the budget has been approved for the use.
yeah, I
Of the
agree.
tax.
I don't believe any action is needed. I think that's already been approved.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Going to our meeting. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, mayor's report.
First, last night we had the tree lighting. There was a pretty good amount of people here to take part of it. Well done by everybody that was involved with the fire company lighting up, the churches that were here, with hot chocolate and cookies, the chorus from the high school. So we're off without a hitch. Good weather finally for it. Another thing I have is, again, I'll bring up Home Avenue, the speed on Home Avenue. The crosswalk sign has been apparently run over enough to break it completely now. So if everybody could just, speed limit again is not 55 on Home Avenue. And my last thing would be, it's obviously winter, hopefully snow doesn't come. But if it does, we have snow emergency routes. If we could please move all vehicles off of those prior to the plowing, would be greatly appreciated. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Police report.
Okay, so for November, total patrol miles, we have 1,071, which was the equivalent of 118 patrol hours. 28 hours, were spent on, like dispatched calls or calls that we've responded to here. There's 1 crash investigation, 1 hour on traffic checks, 12 hours spent on paperwork, 9 vehicle stops, 5 hours spent on follow-up, 5 hours for court time, and then under significant activities, Cleo Police Department handled 3 UCR reportable crimes for Topton in November for fraud, disorderly conduct, and a harassment complaint. The remainder of the calls for service were EMS calls, welfare checks, parking complaints, phone details, suspicious vehicle complaint, a domestic, several civil complaints, and 1 drug overdose. Fleetwood Police made 9 criminal arrests department-wide for November. There were no criminal arrests made for Topton for November. Overall, we handled 38 UCR reportable crimes department-wide, again, for November. And then he has noted that there were 2 parking citations, and the remainder resulted in warnings. Personnel, full-time officer who was out on medical leave has since returned to duty, and part-time employee who had surgery is still at home recovering, but he has started working from home when he's able to. And under equipment, we have new radio batteries and mics that have been ordered. And that's all he has.
Okay, thank you very much.
Could I ask, I think Topton had 3 that were close to criminal or reportable crimes.
Yes, fraud, disorderly conduct, and harassment.
What was the fraud?
I don't have any details, that's what the chief has listed, so I'm not sure.
I'd like to get that, please.
Okay.
I think the residents of Topton should know if there's fraud going on around town.
Yeah, I mean, without knowing for sure, I mean, if I had to guess, most of our fraud complaints come in from people who receive phone calls, you know, from someone who's attempting to get money from them. The difference there between fraud and it being a theft is if the attempt was made, but there was no financial loss. If the person actually gives money, you know, to someone or whatever and sustains a loss, then it becomes a theft. So if it's the attempt was made, that's usually a fraud. Again, I'm just merely speculating, and I don't know the details of what this particular fraud incident was, but we can get that too.
Thank
Did you receive the emails that we sent
Thank
from the last one?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you very much.
sure, yep.
Okay, anything else? Hearing of visitors. If you are a taxpayer of Topton and wish to address the council, please raise your hand, wait to be recognized, then rise. State your name and address for the record, because we do use the video for our minutes, so it's very important that you do that. And you may have 4 minutes each. Would anybody like to address the council? Yes, Monica.
Monica Kunkel, 405 West Barkley Street. Couple things to confirm. The pie chart that was in the last water bill, just confirming, because you've had all these executive meetings, this was the most recent offer to the union/employees, is that correct?
Yes, it was, and I'd like to clarify one thing. That pie chart represented the worst case scenario, which we are now in. There was a 2-part offer, one that had the benefits and savings associated with the Teamsters healthcare, but they didn't make the deadline in time for us to take advantage of that. So now that pie chart is accurate.
It is.
It is.
Okay, thank you. Also, you have made no further decisions as far as the library safety net or TCOC contributions, correct?
We have
Those
not.
still remain as they were at 0.
Correct.
Okay. A couple other things that, if you don't want to answer them now and wait till you get to the committee, that's fine. I'm just hoping there's some discussion and explanation as far as what these things will be. That's under streets, the winter services agreement, and under utilities, the professional services agreement for services for water and sewer, and prep of the standard operating procedures for those as well.
Yeah,
Sometimes you get to those and all you say is the information's presented and I need a motion and nothing's explained. I just hope you explain what these are all about now tonight.
we can and we will.
Thank you.
Those are all emergency only contracts.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move forward. Solicitor.
All right, the first item is an update on 546 Celia Avenue. As you know, I had been authorized to file with the Court of Common Pleas a petition for review of Guardian's performance of duties because of the conditions on that property and the fact that the owner is under guardianship of person and estate. We have filed that petition with the court. We filed on November 19th, and we filed earlier than that, but on November 19th, the court issued a preliminary order setting a hearing date for January 31st. We're in the process of serving the owner's guardian and caregivers, and we will be having a hearing on the 31st at 11 a.m. before Judge Nevius of the Court of Common Pleas. Are there any questions from council on 546 Celia? Okay, next item, meeting with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters status. You heard earlier that there had been an executive session, and negotiations are ongoing. And the third item is the execution of the Fleetwood Police Services Agreement Second Amendment, and that is the amendment for the year 2025. And that is a total total cost for the year of $181,988.64, which is $15,165.72 per month times 12 months, plus an additional payment for police vehicle at $15,000, which has been the case for each year. This amendment is clear that this is the final year of the agreement. We gave the notice of termination of the agreement, gave that in a timely manner. The amendment is clear that this is the last year of the agreement. We have a resolution before council, resolution 20-2024, which is to adopt the second amendment to the police services agreement. So does anyone have any questions about the amendment to the agreement? Okay, so I'll need a motion then to adopt resolution 2020-24 and to sign and to execute the second amendment to the police services agreement.
Okay, can I have a motion
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
and a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, my other items, as Ms. Kunkel had mentioned, are elsewhere in the agenda on the professional services agreement and emergency services agreement.
Thank you.
Okay.
Borough manager.
During the last month, we received the liquid fuels audit for fiscal year 2023. Council has received a copy. There's a meeting on the 11th, Wednesday, with Senator Tracy Petticoat's office. So just a reminder, those who are going from council, please just remember to be there. If you guys are carpooling, that's fine. But there is parking and you should be fine. Also bring, Julie had suggested bringing your thoughts to the people who are attending so they can pass along your thoughts. We filed our performance grant application with PADEP for our recycling for 2023. We had open enrollment for health coverage. We worked with Barry Eisen and Associates grants staff to submit the LSA grant for East Barclay Street, additional funding for it. Hometown Heroes will be discussed later, but we met with the school by telephone to finalize taking over the program. The tax collector's audit for 2023 is currently underway, and the auditors have come on site to do some work and are currently still working on the audit. It should be finished within the year and then reported out to council, hopefully more than just a draft in January, February, but it could even be in the end of December. And then we are currently still in a drought, so a reminder is out there because a burn ban has been lifted doesn't mean we're out of a drought. So please conserve and continue to conserve. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Did you mention the school district and the banners? No.
Hometown Heroes? Yes, we met with the school district.
Are they taking it over?
They are
Since it was
not.
there? Okay, that's.
It was a miscommunication. It was communicated at the initial program presentation to council. They meant it to be a template program and for council and the borough to take over the program completely eventually.
And eventually has arrived.
Well, the majority of the work was being done by a previous council person, Michelle Stout, and by borough staff.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Committee reports.
Mr. Haney, am I allowed to ask Joan something?
Not right now.
Oh, I had it in her, I had my hand up when her report was, but nobody looked back at me, but, all right.
Dan has a question. Do we approve these
Right, it looks like there are other items under, other than.
Yes, that was just my report, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Next item is I need authorization to advertise a meeting on December 16th, which is next Monday. I just need a motion to authorize to advertise. The meeting will be at 7 p.m.
Okay,
That motion, and the purpose will be
that's our budget meeting.
for budget.
Would you strictly like it to be budget? I can put that in the advertisement.
Might as well. Then we can just,
As long as the intention is that it is only budget, because if you're having a special meeting, sometimes you advertise for other matters as may come before
oh,
council.
we will have something for the engineers, so.
I would say advertise other, as budget and other matters as may come before council.
Okay, is your first still good?
Yes, yes.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then the last two items I have, one also needs authorization. It's to advertise all of the meetings of council for 2025. I will also include in that advertisement the meetings of the planning commission and possibly one meeting of the municipal authority. But before you is the list of the council meetings.
Does that need to be approved?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll make that motion.
thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. And then also before you is just for your information and for the information of the community, the list of the holidays that will be observed as of now for 2025 for the borough. And therefore closing of the office.
Okay, thank you very much.
Now that's all I have.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, under committee reports, environment and conservation, Ms. Cook.
Source water protection plan, still looking for funding. Municipal separate storm sewer systems, we're still doing MS for Monday and plus some extra days of the week. With really good community information being posted online, that's been good, so doing a wonderful job. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for Ms. Cook. We did install four of the signs that are emergency response for any spill. What is the progress with communicating with Long Swamp Township?
That's on hold.
Because we do have another sign, so we want to know,
Okay,
just to
You have
keep it in
one?
storage.
okay, thank you, yep.
Okay, under personnel and policy, Ms. Falcone.
I'd like, under personnel, to ask that we authorize our manager to advertise the part-time administrative assistant position that's open.
Okay, can I ask for a motion to advertise for that position?
One thing I wanted to just mention, so are we in agreement that that will be the same as the last time we had advertised? Pay rate, same, and everything?
Maximum hours.
30, maximum of 30 hours. At a starting rate of 16 per hour is what we had, isn't that correct?
It was advertised with a range.
Oh, okay, we'll continue with the range, is everyone okay with the range of?
What was the range?
$14 to $18 per hour.
And after 6 months, a $1 per hour raise, I think is what we did before. If
That was an
successful.
offer, so this is just the advertisement.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks.
Okay, were you the second or the first? First, second? Any more discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. You're still on deck.
Okay, I'm just turning my page here, so, as far as personnel, there's a actually, and policy, there's a request, for exceptions to our vacation policy. There have been some unused vacation by some of our employees, and we need to see how we wanna handle it. We have time is to be used. So I wanted to have a discussion about that.
Okay, first I need a motion and a second so we can discuss it.
The motion to, well,
We don't know.
Motion.
Make a
a motion for exception to the vacation policy, and then it can be discussed.
Okay,
Motion is second.
a motion for the exception to the vacation policy. Do I have a motion? Second? Am I allowed to?
You can second.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Okay, discussion. The only thing I would add is that we keep it consistent with the handbook and past practice.
I would agree with that.
But otherwise, I'm game to approve it.
Vacation time or comp time or personal time?
Just vacation.
Only vacation time.
What the handbook says is it allows upon approval of council for carryover of unused vacation time into the first quarter of the next year. Generally, vacation time is use or lose. Upon special circumstances, it can be carried over into the first quarter of the year up until March 31st. It is not to be, and specifically says in the handbook, paid out.
So we're discussing vacation time only.
Yes.
To be extended for usage,
By March
coordinated with
30.
the manager, of course.
Up to
And
March
Up to the
31st.
end of March,
March-
2025.
Right.
I would make a motion to do that.
Well, there's a motion on the table right now for exception to the vacation policy. So you would start by voting no on, you could amend the motion to make the exception to the vacation policy to allow it to be carried over to the first quarter, through the first quarter of 2025.
Okay, let me try this. I'd like to request a motion.
I'd like to, will you, who made the motion?
I think I did.
Kathy?
Kathy?
Okay.
Okay, Kathy, would you be willing to amend the motion to clarify the exception to the vacation policy to allow the unused vacation time to be carried over for use to March 31st, 2025?
Yes.
Make that
And is there a second to the amended motion?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Is that all you have?
That concludes my reports.
Thank you. Streets. Ms. Palmer.
So we just have the emergency services agreement, should we need help when the mayor declares emergency?
Yeah, and with this, to expand on it, because I know there's an interest, it's a boilerplate contract that if so needed in the event of an emergency is declared, that we can hire subcontractors for snow removal.
Right, and that is, I prepared the agreement. It would be on an on-call and as-needed basis to complete snow and ice removal. It is you're correct, it's a boilerplate agreement that can be filled in, customized, and again, it is for emergency situations. And you would still be going out for bids and quotes on this.
Quotes.
Yes.
Yeah, would only be used in the event of an emergency. So can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second? Any discussion beyond what we just had? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Finance Committee, Ms. Hassel.
I would like to make motion to approve the list of bills and transfers as presented to council.
Okay, and I have a motion to approve the bills and transfers as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
I do have something else to go over. I would also like approval to do the budget balance of the ARPA funds to.
Actually, it's one at a time.
Oh,
Yeah. Gotta,
Yeah.
let's vote on the approval of the list of bills and transfers
Okay,
first.
there was no discussion, so, all in favor for the bills? Or do you have? No? Good. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, continue.
sorry about that. I also would like a motion to commit the balance of the ARPA funds to the Washington Street Pump Station Rehabilitation Project.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Second?
I need a second before discussion can continue.
I'll second, can I second it? Yes, second it.
Any discussion?
The balance currently is $84,692.02, but it continues to accumulate interest, so really that's why the motion is the way it is, the balance of the funds. By federal regulations, they have to be obligated by the end of this year, calendar year. We've already obligated 60-something. It is in the 2024 budget. For water, $60,054.74, and what I'm recommending, because the Washington Street Pump Station needs so much, not obligating it to water fund anymore and obligating the entire balance that we have left to sewer.
Yes.
What's that gonna do to our water?
It can survive.
Okay.
A minute for Washington Street.
Now we really need
Eh,
it. Yeah, now we need it.
Any other discussion? Okay,
After the time, it has to be dedicated by the certain date. After that date, if we have an emergency, something blows up, can we move it, do you know?
Well, you've already obligated it and recorded that you obligated it. They're being very strict with these ARPA funds. I would not, once you obligate this to a certain use, it would be my recommendation to leave it alone.
Okay?
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Is that it for that?
Kathy,
Kathy?
Oh, I'm done.
You're done? Okay. Community relations, Ms. Eisenhardt.
As the mayor expressed earlier tonight, the tree lighting ceremony went quite well. We did have excellent weather. I did forget to, in my thank you last night, I forgot to mention the borough workers. I was glad that you did take the time to put the lights on the tree. I did appreciate that we had a tree to light. So thank you very much. I think some of you are here today. That's about it for the tree lighting ceremony. It was very good. Good. Could have been more, but I was happy.
Okay, and then, do we need to approve something with the 150th?
Nothing for approval. We should get started on that. That's less than a year and a half away. I would like to get some information what other towns have done for that celebration and do some brainstorming. So if anybody is interested in giving their opinions, send them in.
I was thinking we could start out like we did for the 100th, and they had things broken down. So if we can start with a committee of 3 council members, and then break it down from there, so that we would be able to be on the same page, and then maybe start having a meeting in January, because in for the 100th anniversary, they started selling stuff and they had a new logo and everything. And that's why you see that 100-year logo all over the place, because they had a store set up. So if we could make some money to have a party that's good for that, that would be good. And since that logo that we use throughout town is mainly for the centennial, it'd be nice to have another, or 150, or something like that, just
Well, we have
throwing things around.
restrictions on doing fundraisers, don't we? We're not allowed to do that.
Like the committees do.
Exactly, it would be a separate committee.
And we had one in the past, we had a centennial committee that kind of fell apart, 2019, something like that. And Sue Radcliffe was the treasurer there, so that, I don't know if that, where those funds went or what.
That's
but-
the tree and the sign that you guys
Okay,
referred to
there we
last
go.
meeting.
All right, so-
Okay, would that be on me to appoint a committee?
Would be the chairman to, let me just see, what we're talking about is an ad hoc committee, which I
Oh,
think,
okay. So
the
can just-
chairman of council has the authority to do, but let me look at that.
Might ask for volunteers and if you don't get
And also take
volunteers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because if that's the case, I'll do it next meeting, that way it's started,
Sorry.
paying attention. I asked our solicitor if it was part of my job to appoint the committee, and if it is, I'll ask for volunteers, and I'll do that next meeting. That way it started. And you can actually just get back to us on that.
Okay, that's fine.
So, okay, I'll move on to properties. Mr. Arndt,
Schultz Forest Management and Consulting, is done doing their investigating and marking trees for the timber project. I got a timber sale bid notice from them, and I'd like to get a motion to approve that based on what Charlie finds out on our performance bond.
okay,
And I had also looked at the issue of the insurance coverage that was under the agreement, which is $1 million in commercial general liability insurance and workers' compensation insurance, which I believe would be sufficient. I was also asked about the performance bond. It was set at $15,000, and the question is whether that's adequate to make sure that if they would leave the site, with partially deforested and to whether that would be a sufficient amount to avoid runoff.
I'm gonna check with some project groups
Yep.
previously.
so how can I format the motion so that we can approve it pending?
Sure, motion to approve, pending resolution of questions on financial security.
Thank you. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
it.
Thank you. All in favor?
If-
Oh,
I have a
discussion.
question. Did they give us a quote for the total amount the borough would receive?
Not that I saw,
I didn't see it, I didn't know, so we don't really know.
I don't really
I
know.
mean, there's some nice little charts in here, but 40 feet and who knows?
Yeah.
That would be based on the.
Yes, that would be based on the bid.
That's based on the
He has
We'll
all,
know once the bids come in.
Right.
Okay.
The value of the trees fluctuates over time. Sometimes they're worth more or less. We'll find out.
Any other discussion?
No bids so far, okay.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Go ahead, Scott.
the police parking lot's still on hold. And I'll defer to Charlie on the Oak Alley project.
So we did, on the 5th, have bid openings for the Oak Alley ADA improvements. Included in that were as two separate additive alternates, was the Callowhill Street combing project, which we had gotten grants for also, and not received bids when we put that one out to bid. We had good activity, we had 8 bids received, the apparent low below is J. Phillips Excavating and Hauling, who did Toad Creek. They were a contractor on that, we were very happy with, they did a good job for us. And they were low, however you added the alternates in. It is the base bid low is 169, 125, 25. When we add the alternates, that makes it 197, 273. The DCNR grant is 247,000, and then the street calming grant is 168. So we have more than enough funds that cover the scope of this work. Just as a reminder, the traffic calming is the installation of 2 speed humps. These are not bumps, these are over 16 feet, goes up 3 inches. They're just meant to slow folks down a little bit. And there are 6 ADA ramps on Callowhill that are part of that project. And it is our recommendation that the project be awarded to the low bidder, including the 2 additive alternates.
Okay, do we wanna do that now?
Yep.
Okay, can I have a motion to award the bid to the low bidder as discussed?
I'll make a motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Is the 3-inch clearance okay for your vehicle you come in?
Oh, yeah, 3 inches is good.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, Utilities Committee meeting. The accounts receivable is available for you to look at. Under general information, we had 1 meter switch out. Payment plans are available to any resident that's having financial issues. We're still under voluntary water conservation measures. Please do your best. Bills are now past due if you haven't paid it. And if you need to pay your bill, a reminder, the office will be closed to the public December 25th through the 1st of January, but checks can be left in the drop box to pay your bill. And for approval, I have 2 contracts. The first contract is also an emergency contract for operators for the water and sewer treatment plants in the event of emergency. This lays out emergency fees, and it's on-call as needed, if needed, in the event an emergency is declared. Can I have a motion to approve the first contract?
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion?
Okay, who is that with? Like, you're still not, like, giving the whole lot of info. Are you using people you used before?
Yes,
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. The second contract is also an emergency only, well, it's not just an emergency only, but it's to prepare for an emergency. And what it is, it's a one-time fee to create written SOP for all our required testing for both sewage treatment and water treatment. Can I have a motion to approve the SOP contract?
Who's doing that? Are we hiring someone to do that?
Yes, we are.
We can't have our people indicate what they do?
It's actually in the job description, they're supposed to do it, I believe. But it hasn't been done.
This is something we need to be done. Can I have a motion? I need a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, how much is this gonna cost?
Is there any reason our people aren't doing it? This is in the job description.
But right now, they're overwhelmed, short-staffed, and this is something that needs to be replaced yesterday.
right here, ask them yourselves, they're doing their job. Freaking crazy.
Yeah, my SOPs are done. They're sitting on my desk. I mean, they're done.
Nobody comes in.
Are you gonna type them up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that good at typing, but I can get it done.
Great. When can you have it done?
By the end of the day tomorrow, if nothing comes up.
And that will be every test requirement required by DEP.
Yeah.
When it's due,
What I did was I went in and everything I did, I wrote down. From starting a pump to doing this, to doing that, to everything.
what about Alex?
Well, I don't know about Alex. I was told to do it, so I did it.
Okay, let me revise my motion.
And now keep in mind, I was told by DEP, when was that?
2 months ago when we had our
Yeah.
inspection.
They didn't like that we didn't have SOPs done, so I said, look, I'll get it done in 90 days, which the date was December today, in fact. And they've been done for a week and a half. So they're
Okay.
there, they just gotta be typed
I'm gonna
out.
revise my motion. To,
We table this until we can talk.
no, I would like to revise it.
Revise the motion and then you can decide.
I would like to revise it to be approved pending the work not getting done in 7 days. So, give me your SOP, Alex, give me his SOP, and we'll just not spend the money. However, if it doesn't get done, it's gonna get done. Because it has to be done. Okay, can I have a motion for that?
First, it was Julie who made the original motion and you're amending the motion, so she would have to approve the amended motion.
I did, yep.
Okay, second?
I just have one question.
Look, I just need a second, then we can talk.
I'll second.
Okay, now you can talk.
If they told you they needed them done, and you got them done, why didn't nobody up here know about it?
Because they don't check in.
Yeah,
talks to us.
they don't talk to us.
Nobody talks.
Scott, you're the only guy that talks to us, and Kathy.
And you can't talk?
We do talk. We come to the office.
I was here the other day when you guys
That's
were
who we
cleaning
have
up
to
and
come
nobody
to,
even
the
looked at me.
office. We can't go
Alright.
to your house.
Calm down. This discussion period is for council.
But the question was asked to them, so the
Yes,
answer.
you did it right.
Where's the ball being dropped then?
Our employees report to our manager, is that correct?
That's correct.
So that's,
So if
So
you
what-
don't have the SOPs, then they wouldn't have come to us. So it goes through the manager to be seen by us. So if you haven't given them to her, then how do you expect us to know?
I
Most of
just,
the,
I
most of the
finished them up
information we
last
get
week.
comes through the manager, even if it's through the lawyers or engineers.
They called him and told him to have them done, so that's what he did.
Yeah,
They're at the shop, up at his water plant, where they should be.
So you're gonna type them up and you're going to turn them in to Ms. Milo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then we won't have to spend money. Win-win. Otherwise,
they have a contract, this wouldn't be a problem.
if it doesn't get done, we're gonna allow it to get done.
Well, yeah, I mean,
There's also-
I was told by the state to have them done, so I did it. I mean, it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you weren't
I don't
doing
know
the job,
what
they
else
should
to
be
do.
fine, so.
Any other discussion amongst council?
I mean,
As long as he's doing his job.
I just have a hard, I mean, if they
If-
told him to do it, why didn't they tell
If it's
everybody else
done
to do it? He's,
and prepared,
It's a different regulator, and they regulate by permit. And so the water inspector came in and did an inspection,
Yeah.
cited deficiencies, and that's what that is in response to. The sewer plant has had their inspector, that have not cited any of those deficiencies.
what I'm having a hard time with is, shouldn't have they left, not saying Scott, but shouldn't have they left Stacy know also?
The state?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, DB, Stacy is the one who provided me the information. So the inspections, yeah, the inspections come through, that with the notice of violations, the
Okay, but
deficiency.
the day he was up with Scott, on his way back, he could have stopped here and said to Stacy,
So the inspector inspects the permitted facility and deals with the permitted operators, not other folks. They deal with, and Scott's the licensed operator of record of the water plant. So that's who,
So they would just
that's who the
discuss it with
DEP
him,
inspector
and then they
wants
would
to talk to.
report on it.
That's who's responsible for the operation of the borough's water plant, or authority's water plant, is the licensed operator. They're going to deal with that licensed operator, they don't wanna deal with the engineer, they don't wanna deal with the manager, they don't wanna
So
deal with the council.
where's the responsibility of the licensed operator? To communicate this information?
That's not an engineering question, the operator is responsible for certain things to DEP, that's a matter of law and permit, and Scott's has indicated that he was fulfilling that role with that inspector. I don't know beyond that, I can't answer anything beyond that, I can answer the way the permit system works. And it's the same thing on the wastewater plant side. The wastewater plant operator of record
So
is the
did-
one responsible for operating the plant in accordance with the permit, and that's what the inspectors inspect and who they deal with.
I was gonna say the inspector will just deal with the license.
That's where they're dealing with it, that's how it goes, every time. And the licensed entity of the plant and the operators are the one who get any official correspondence. That's how it goes, so the city would, the borough would get
So
copies.
the failure of communication is with the operator.
I mean, that's common sense to report to your peer when there is something being done.
Well, Stacy was full aware that I was doing the SOPs,
Just now that they're finished, they've been asking and asking.
and the deadline was December 9th, which is today.
And do you have them? You do not have them?
No, because Scott's still working on them.
I don't have them typed up.
Oh, get them typed
I mean,
up?
I can go get them right now if you want them.
So the deadline has not been met.
Correct. So, in any event, we don't know if sewage treatment had the same, directive. So I would like this request approved, so that if the directives have not been completed, that we can get them completed and be compliant. And if it's done, we don't have to spend the money.
I'd like our manager to perhaps tomorrow check in with Alex and see if he's written up an SOP or not.
Because if he hasn't, I mean, we need these done, they need to be done at the end of the week. And if they are, I won't sign the contract, and if they're not, I'll sign the contract.
These are essential duties and responsibilities of our operators.
That's a whole nother issue,
This is our current handbook.
I know.
Work closely with our manager.
So if he hasn't done it yet, if you would direct him to get that done in the next week or something.
There's a lot in the handbook that has not been followed through on.
All I'm saying is I recognize that our guys are overwhelmed and short-staffed.
I agree.
Yes.
So if they can get it done by the end of the week, hooray, we save some money. If they don't, I'm signing this contract, if it's approved tonight, and we're gonna pay somebody to get it done.
Okay, he said end of week. Initially you said 7 days. Are you gonna give Alex
Okay,
7 days? Because,
I'll give you the weekend too, how's that? Monday?
well, Alex is not here to indicate what he's done or not done, so he, you know, he needs more time. He said he can do by end of the week. Alex,
Our manager will
Isn't
take
here.
care of that.
Yeah, it needs to be done. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Just clarify.
Clarify.
We're doing both according to that. Or
Yeah, I'm,
For standard operating procedures for water and wastewater,
And within 7 days.
within 7 days.
Okay.
yeah,
We are
Kept
having,
it the same, yeah.
we're having a meeting next Monday, is that right?
yeah. So we can have this discussion again on Monday. Do you want me to?
No, I'm ready to vote. I'll make a
Here.
motion.
There's a motion on the floor. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
And the cost of that would be, if you'd have to do it, do you have that?
It was $1,500.
Thank you.
Let me check.
Is that for one or both?
Both.
Thank you.
Where'd it go? It was for,
Page 2 at the bottom, compensation.
$1,500. Okay. That's all I have. Engineering report.
Most of the engineer's report has been covered in the action items. Do have an update a little bit on the MS4. We are expecting, although DEP has not confirmed, that the process of the stormwater in BPS will start next year, with it being due in 2026. But DEP hasn't set those deadlines yet, so that's just an expectation. For given all the way things have been functioning, that may not be met. Working to have the Washington Street quotes for the pump station for Monday, as we discussed. Everything else?
Okay, thank you. Under old business, should I go right to Julie for the comprehensive plan?
Do you want to present what Berks County?
Did you, that's the list?
Yes.
No. That's it. I just was gonna say the highlights I have. This is what we've been going step by step through since July 1st till September. There was multiple meetings. We covered housing, economy, transportation, natural resources, and tomorrow is going to be facilities, wastewater, and water. So, that's basically what all this is. And, I just wanted to say that, the survey that went out in everybody's water bill, the biggest participation was from Topton, so that was a good thing. But there was only 86 people in the Rockland district in Topton who participated, so that was not pretty. And, everybody wants to see improvement in roads, so hopefully we'll be able to work on that and get some funding for that. And there's a public meeting, which is what I really wanted to highlight for everybody, on January 14th at 6:30. It's gonna be in the Brandywine Middle School auditorium. So you can get a more complete, information about what's been going on with the Joint Comprehensive Plan at that meeting on public meeting night.
January.
It's January 14th at 6:30, and that's Brandywine Middle School auditorium.
Okay,
Anything else?
okay, thank you. Hometown Heroes, we kinda covered already, so I'll pass that over. Hopefully we can revisit that next year. Topton Community Ambulance, Monica?
I don't have anything at this time. Our meeting is this week.
Okay, thank you.
But the donation letters did go out, so that's always helpful, community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Preservation Board.
Preservation Board did not meet, Charlie, excuse me. The letter was sent out, however, with a lot of details, combining both cemetery and museum activity. The important bottom line for this Preservation Board is the bank account. And the balance now in that is $3,797.85. So that's all on that.
Thank you very much.
And the Rotary Club gave them $500, but awarded them $500.
Awesome, thank you. Brandywine Community Library.
Next two Sundays, 15th and 22nd, the library will be open. It isn't normally on Sunday, but Sunday afternoon, the puts will be open with their tours. If you have not been there, that's really an exciting piece of history. So please stop by for one of those times. And the county commissioners are going to be meeting in the library in February. I don't have the date yet. Wonderful, just so you're aware of that.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I move for adjournment, Randy?
Yeah, I,
See Joan after the meeting. Ask your question. Okay, go ahead.
okay, good. So, I know Monica brought up that pie chart, and that's why we're all here tonight. We're interested in that pie chart.
No, he's not, but he has.
I asked to speak to Joan, if I could, under her report. And your lawyer, Mr. Boland, called our union rep, and he has no recollection or no idea about what pie chart that we're even discussing. How are we supposed to even accept it or look at it if Mr. Boland has no idea about the pie chart?
I haven't discussed the pie chart with Mr. Boland, so I really don't feel comfortable answering your question.
I figured you wouldn't. Thank you.
Yeah, the pie chart has nothing to do with the negotiations.
Well, you just told
they're
Monica,
announcing
that's our last proposal.
That was informational to let the public know, our residents know how much the proposal costs.
Wait,
But
what?
at the-
What did you say?
At the top, it says current union proposal to us.
Right,
Yeah,
That's what it
that's-
says.
so that is your proposal to them.
That's
Current
our
offer to
cost.
the union, included in the draft 2025 budget. Union employee total wage benefit
Oh,
expense
hang on.
for 5 employees or employees at this amount.
Your
This is
name.
your pie chart.
Your name.
You can pull your.
Oh, my name is Heather Garris, I'm at 23 West Smith Street, but yes, this is your pie chart.
Yeah, that represents our total cost
Yeah,
in our budget, and it all aligns with the offer that we made. Now, the only miscommunication was that represented the worst-case scenario if they didn't accept in time to take advantage of the cheaper health care through the Teamsters Health Insurance. We missed that window to take advantage of those savings. If we had taken advantage of those savings, that would have been inaccurate.
So that is not our current proposal as it states on the top.
That is the proposal right now.
How can it be? Your lawyer didn't even see it.
The lawyer,
Mr. Boland said he has never seen the pie chart.
yeah, it's not relevant.
Well, then how can it be our proposal?
That was our cost for the proposal.
that is not what this
The
says.
Borough of Topton to run for the whole year with what you were asking for.
That's what we offered.
No, this was
What-
your current offer.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah,
your offer.
that's what
Right.
it says.
That is what
Borough's
it says.
current offer.
Right,
Yeah,
so what,
That is what
okay,
it's
but that's
going
really
to
not what
cost.
you're saying.
That
You're
is what
saying
I'm
what it
saying.
costs.
That's our cost.
Would be
that's our
the
cost
For
to
2025,
give them that
that's our
offer.
cost.
How is that difficult to understand?
Well, it's not difficult, but you're saying yes and no, and these aren't the wages, etc. So
The
what
only-
is it?
The only miscommunication that I was trying to correct was that represents the worst-case scenario,
Right.
which we are in right now.
Right,
Okay.
They didn't accept in time to take advantage of the savings offered by the Teamsters Health Insurance. So now that chart is 100% accurate.
But this chart doesn't have the Teamsters Health Insurance in it.
Correct.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct.
and they missed
Correct.
that. So
We're
this
okay
is
with
right.
that.
Right, so,
We had the budget for the worst-case scenario, i.e. everything staying exactly the same, and that's the way it is now.
so if they were to accept this offer, this is what you're telling us, this is their offer.
Correct.
This is-
That's gonna be our gross wages. That's what we want.
Yeah.
We'll talk to our rep tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, Jesse's gonna be extremely freaking out. You can party for a week up in there.
Congratulations, guys.
Okay. That's it for that. $35. I have a motion for adjournment.
I have one, can I give Carol
Oh, yeah.
information,
Go ahead.
please? The fraud report, it was a Topton resident whose information was used to give out 2 student loans through the University of Phoenix. So, he just needed a police report so that he could file, something with the University of Phoenix to dispute that he wasn't the one that took out those loans.
So, do you know if it was done electronically, or they got,
I don't know. He checked his credit report and saw that there had been 2 student loans taken out in his name through the University of Phoenix. So,
thank you.
that's all I knew. Okay.
Okay, motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.